For great ideas and practical tools you can start using tomorrow to grow your business and separate you from the competition, you've come to the right place. If you're into B2B marketing and sales, then welcome to the one and only B2B Marketing and Sales Podcast. With over 60 and counting total years in the trenches of businesses small and large, they have a plethora of knowledge and experience that generate you more leads, capture more clients, ring up more sales. Well, doggone it, just make you more money. How about that? Always thought-provoking, yet dubiously entertaining. Please welcome to their respective microphones across 3 time zones, your co-ringmasters, the Dave Loomis, and not the rock star, Steve Miller.
Hey everybody, Steve Miller. I am not the Steve Miller. I am not the rock star Steve Miller. Actually, one of many, many, many Steve Millers. However, I am joined by the Dave Loomis. And I got to tell you, for those of you that are listening on the podcast, you're missing the sartorial splendor that my partner is bringing to the stage today. And those of you that are not, you should watch us on the video occasionally, because one thing that we have in common, Dave and I have in common, right, Dave, is that we are both, our brand color is orange.
That is true. And today I am sporting an orange tie with colored polka dots and a blue jacket. And I'm looking pretty sharp, I must say.
Sartorial splendor. I don't even remember the last time I wore a tie. Because I stopped wearing ties years ago. So
I just did it. I did it for you, Steve, and the audience, and just to mix things up a little bit. Yeah. I'm cycling through all my orange things, and so this was just another orange thing.
Yeah, I've got another orange, sweater on right now.
The orange socks are going to be tough to display.
I've got some really cool orange socks, but we'll have to do that. We'll get into the orange socks. I understand this is TMI, but I actually also have orange underwear. So
okay, I do not, and that is TMI, right?
Good
to know. Good to know.
That's the only one who knows that. But no, I mean, now everybody knows it. I mean,
right, exactly.
But we are talking today about welcome to the B2B Marketing and Sales Podcast, between us. Right. We have, and leading into today's conversation, we have had a lot of years in business, right? Which means that we've been in, marketing and sales and all kinds of stuff. And we decided that today we were going to talk about epic failures on our part. What we have done to be a failure. And I am willing to bet that my failure is bigger than yours, but we're going to let you talk. You talk first. The Dave Loomis, tell us I already told the name. Sign in, please.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Steve. Appreciate it. How many epic failures? We all have them throughout our career. And I was thinking back, and for some reason, something probably oh, wow, that's interesting. I just thought of
thought of another one.
Well, I had a lemonade stand when I was really, really young. We're probably you're talking 8 years old or something like that.
Right.
And I misspelled the word lemonade.
Ooh.
Except when I learned that I misspelled it, I sort of turned it around and I said, look, this may be a misspelling, but this makes sense because I spelled it lemon, Lemon, and instead of ADE, I spelled it AID. And it's lemon aid. It's an aid for your thirst. Lemonade. And I just didn't understand, why is it not called that to begin with?
Nice spin.
That way.
Nice spin.
Right, right. It was good spin. That was early spin, early recover from a failure. Then fast forward all the way to high school. I was into marketing. I was painting houses for the college painters, even though I wasn't in college yet. And I was trying to drum up business because they paid us to generate leads. So if we generated a lead that they would go out and quote this company, college painters, they would give us, I don't know what it was, $10 or something like that. And I wanted a lot of leads. Mm-hmm. So I had a very clever idea. And my idea was to create a flyer that I could distribute. And then I was going to go around the neighborhood and look for all the houses that desperately needed painting. Desperately. They looked crummy. Passed by all the good-looking houses.
Right.
And then I would see one where even from the street, the paint is falling off the house and it needs a lot of work. That's where I would drop the flyer off.
And the headline on the flyer was, "Your house looks like crap."
Well, it was get a free quote for painting.
You need a paint job.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
This being the show about epic failures, guess how many leads I got from that process?
Wow. 100?
Nothing.
Nothing. Oh, I was way off.
No, not one. I didn't get one
not
lead.
one.
And when I look back on it, I think to myself, well, okay, people that haven't painted their house in a really long time and it looks horrible, even from the street, they just don't care. There must be, they either don't care or there's a financial reason or there's some other reason that even a free quote, they're not interested because it's going to cost a few $1,000s to paint your house. So forget it.
Yeah, they are.
We don't care.
Yeah.
We don't care. I should have just either distributed them literally to everyone, or conversely, I could have just gone to the houses that look great and say, hey, to keep your house looking great, get a free quote, because those are the people that invest in repainting their house.
Right.
So my target marketing was off.
Well, and that's a really important point about target marketing is, and I often say that the phrase "find a need and fill it" is bogus. And the reason why I say that is because we think everybody needs us anyway. And we might look at houses and say they need to be painted. So we think that they need us, right? We have found a need, but they didn't agree that they have a need, right? If they agreed that they have a need, they would have responded.
Exactly. And also, I probably subtly, as they say these days, low key, insulted them in the process.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
So that's my first example. That's my first. Do you want to trade off? Do you have one?
Well, mine is so. I'm only going to share one because it was so big, and damaging to my ego that.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I'll wait.
Okay. Well, I have one other, which is interesting because flash forward 30 years after that, and I'm still doing lead gen. And
did you get out of high school?
I did. I
that's
graduated. Yeah.
You have progressed up.
Yes, I did. And it wasn't College Painters anymore. It was a college public relations firm. No, it wasn't. It was called, it was a public relations firm in Cleveland, Ohio. And I was the chief marketing officer there. And I hired a wonderful, wonderful person who did outbound lead gen, calling and email. And I still work with this person. She is incredible and has a real gift for helping contact people, get a hold of someone, be assertive, yet disarming and friendly, and talks them into setting up meetings. And I knew this. And she'd had great success in the past. So I hired her to do some of this work for us and provided her with lists and got all this stuff loaded into HubSpot and all this sort of thing. And she pursued these lists. It was for as I recall, we were offering, marketing communications assessment or something like that, but just have a call with us, have a meeting with us. I barely got any leads from it. Spent, thousands of dollars over a couple months, almost nothing. And I discovered that in that case, we needed a real offer. So in the college painter days, we were offering a free quote, which these days isn't that big a deal. Everybody has that.
Yeah.
And when she and I, this lead gen person, implemented a new approach, which was to create a real offer of value to the person we were talking to, we got so many acceptances, and we almost had to turn people away. It was so popular what we did.
Sweet.
And so we figured out a way to turn that one around, but the first pass was just dismal. These things happen.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and that's also why I tell people, look, marketing is not a science. It's science and art. And actually, marketing is testing. You got to test. And if you put something out and it doesn't really work that well, instead of just throwing it away, tweak it a little bit.
Exactly. And we can do that now so much more because we can monitor things that we're doing and in real time, and then we can pivot or pirouette, as you like to say.
Pirouette, please. Yep. Thank you.
And I think I might have told this story, but I can't remember. My wife had a retail store, and I learned a lot about marketing from her because we're doing all these intense analyses with my giant holding company job that I had. And I was trying to give her some of my wisdom. And then I said, well, so how do you decide what to even carry in your store? And her answer was, well, I buy a little bit of something, and if it sells a lot, I reorder it in more and keep selling it. And if it doesn't sell, I sell out of it, and then I don't reorder it anymore. Oh, okay. That's a great idea. That's a really good approach. Maybe I should try that with the big company that I work with. So it's testing. It's
test marketing is testing.
Yeah.
That's for sure. So okay, I will now share mine, which is really it's more about marketing or understanding your market. And knowing your market really, really well, which I insist today is very, very important. Is that we call it hunting moose in my in our parlance, and that if you are hunting moose in the forest, you need to then that's who you're laser beaming hunting moose. But you need to know the moose, and you need to know what the moose wants. And that's what and then you offer it to them. Right. And back when I was in the toy industry many years ago, and I was working for a company called Shinsei Corporation, and I was a very young vice president of sales and international vice president of sales and marketing for this company. So I was in charge of worldwide and stuff. And part of it was also developing products. Now, good marketers, like I just said, you understand who your market is, and then you go find out what the market likes, what they want, and then you try to figure out a way to deliver that to them. And I did not do that. I decided, and in Shinsei, we were the largest radio controlled toy manufacturer in the world. Not the big expensive ones. These were still pretty good quality. Not the super cheap ones or anything like that, but they were kind of the in between where the price points were below $100. So not overly expensive. So instead of really going out and studying the market and thinking, okay, what does the market want? Young kids, right? Primarily boys. What would they want? Well, I decided I knew what they wanted. And I came up with the concept of doing a model of, at that time, it was the Honda ATC, which was a 3-wheel off-road vehicle, right? And we got a license from Honda to build this product. Went out, invested the money in production or to do prototypes, stuff like that. And I insisted that I knew what I was doing. And
it sounds pretty, so far, it sounds pretty cool. I think I would like one.
It sold like crazy. In fact, the year that we came out with it, it was the year of the Cabbage Patch dolls. And Cabbage Patch was the biggest girls' toy. And our Honda radio controlled toy was pretty close to the top boys' toy of the year. Now, here's the issue, and here's when I say, like, it's understanding your market. It's market research, really understanding your market.
Doesn't sound like a failure so far.
No, because it put me on the front of like Toy World magazine. I don't even remember what the magazine's words, Young Wonderkin and stuff. And so, of course, I started believing my own press releases that I knew what the market needed. And so instead of going back out and saying, okay, kids, what's next? All right. What do you love about this toy? What do you love about RCs? What do you love about that? Instead of doing that, no, I thought, okay, I know better. And so, so I helped to develop a radio controlled ball, a round ball. Okay.
So far, this is not. It doesn't sound quite as exciting to me.
That is a bit of an understatement as far as what the market thought, because I decided, I go back out and I'm going, hey, all of you that bought the replica Honda, you're going to love this ball, because this ball is good. People will wonder, how is this ball just rolling around in the street and stuff like that. Now, the Honda was an off-road vehicle, so it went everywhere, and it could go through water and everything like that. Well, my ball could only be done on like a flat surface and all that stuff. But I'm marketing it to the same audience, who I'm absolutely convinced. And I get Toys R Us to support me big time in this.
Yeah.
And we ran TV ads.
They just rolled off the shelves and out the door, right?
You're being cruel.
Because I'm not. I sense some sensitivity, so I apologize. They
sat stationary on the shelves of Toys R Us and everywhere else, and ultimately, talking to the kids, afterwards and saying, why didn't you guys like? And they're like going, well, it's not that much fun. It's not as much fun as that other one was,
Right.
And it was like this. I go from this wonderkin guy who thinks he knows everything to this crushing defeat of coming up with this toy that, it just sucked. It was an interesting thing to see. I loved it in the beginning. I felt, I believed my own press releases. I thought I was smarter than I didn't need to know my market. That was the big thing. And of course, I took away the lesson of got to know your market.
Did you stay in the toy industry after that? Did you have a
Not
third?
Not for long.
Okay.
And it wasn't because of I was crushed. I just thought, what, I've gone from the peak, to the valley, and I just wanted to get, and I just had to get out of there. So I did. But it was the lesson that I learned helped me to become such a smart marketer as I progressed.
Yeah.
But I still look back at that at that episode in my life as just being a crushing defeat. Just totally humiliated.
Well, here's an interesting thing. I mean, and you can read so many authors that come up with different ways of saying basically the same thing. And that's the following, that we learn so much more from our failures than we do from our successes. And there isn't anyone who's successful that hasn't failed many times. And if you're in private equity or any venture capital or any of those things, they actually don't like talking to people who haven't failed. They want people who have failed. And they want to know your failure story or stories because they know you're not going to make those mistakes again, or they hope you're not. And they want to see people who can be very, very efficient the next time. But they don't want somebody who's just green and who thinks they're, going to be killing it because they've had so much success, because they just know that's not going to happen all the time. And so there's phrases like fail fast, fail often, fail fast in those worlds.
Fail forward.
And there's also the law of large numbers in math, but also in, say, sales, where that you have to have 100 leads to get 10 good leads to get one at bat, that you sell. So there's math involved. So you actually are increasing your universe in order to fail more so that you can succeed.
Yeah, and that's exactly right. And you can look at all kinds of different markets, occupations, things like that. You could look at baseball players, batters, that if they fail 7 out of 10 times and yet they get paid multi-millions of dollars to do that. Kay will tell you that in sales, of course, we know that in sales, you are going to fail a lot in sales. Now, you don't want to have the epic failure like I did, which cost my company just a ton of money. But it was an ego situation, right? Is that you want to make sure that you are open to learning from your mistakes. Like you said, fail fast, fail forward, or whatever, that type of stuff. Learn as quickly as you can, adjust, and move on.
Right.
But so then we go back to when we said about the idea of testing, that's what testing helps us do. If we, and especially in marketing, and with one of the beautiful things about digital marketing is that you can do testing very quickly, find out, if you're doing a campaign, for example, doing, a broadcast or something, and it doesn't work, or even if it does work, you still are going to want to test against it, right?
Absolutely. Or there's A/B testing or ABC testing.
Yeah.
If you have an indirect mail, you've got a control. So whatever performs the most becomes your new control, and then you test against that. And then something wins and beats it, and that becomes the new control.
Yeah, and the old control is now a failure.
Right. I do a lot of work in product management, and in product management, you test things first. Yep. Sometimes tooling can be incredibly expensive, and so you make a prototype of something, and then you test it, and then you tool afterwards to see if it's successful. Yeah,
and I know that, and I'm going to just go take a little bit of a pirouette off that comment before we have to cut ourselves off. But now in manufacturing, now they're able to do what they call digital twins, where they're able to create products via, digitally, test that against what's out there right now, and they can find out whether the digital twin, will fail or if it will succeed before they actually go into the idea of actually building prototypes and go into that. And it saves a lot of money. Saves a lot of money. A lot of time.
Testing. I think we've got a theme for our failure.
That's right.
Episode.
Make sure you're testing. So, take us out of here, brother.
thank you for joining us on this successful episode of the B2B Marketing and Sales Podcast with myself, the Dave Loomis, and not the rock star Steve Miller, and my dog Daisy.
Yeah, Daisy's been great.
Oh,
Daisy's been offering suggestions throughout this whole
she
episode.
has. She really wanted to be part of this.
So, awesome.
There you go. All right.
Thanks, everybody.
Yep. Take it easy.
See ya.
See ya.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the one and only B2B Marketing and Sales Podcast, the source for B2B marketing and sales insight. If you enjoyed the podcast, please be sure to subscribe and leave these old guys a 5-star rating. Check the show notes for any links and contact information. You can always contact us by going to b2bmarketingsalespodcast.com. Thank you, and keep on marketing, keep on selling.